Thank you for joining us. It's still Tuesday, October 8th, and we are going to say hello and good morning to Tony Grant, the one and only Tony Grant, who joins me daily to discuss the news we might have missed while scanning the headlines. What did we miss?
Well, good morning. Good morning. I want to call attention to an interesting article in the Financial Times, which is a paper we don't talk a lot about, but it's a very good newspaper.
Prestigious, American, you know.
I don't know if it's American or British or international.
European.
European.
Yeah, shows you how much I know. Okay.
Yeah, well, and it's a paper of the world.
Yes.
And that's why that story is particularly relevant. Saudis fear tide of Syria war turning against their interests. Yeah, very. Now, there's of course a rivalry, for lack of a better word, between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Right.
And so Saudi Arabia looks at potential rapprochement with the United States and Iran very warily, because this is a Shia.
Yeah, what happens in Syria, you mean, will reflect on what happens in Iran with the United States, and that's what Saudi Arabia is looking at.
Yeah, there's that aspect, and the fact that basically in Syria, Saudi Arabia wants Assad out at any price, because they see him as a pillar of this pro-Iran axis, and they are Iran being Shia and Saudi Arabia being a Sunni Muslim entity. So it's.
And as we've just reported in the first hour, it looks like the United States currently is quite happy with the way Assad is dealing with the UN inspectors coming in, and it seems like there's, there's a forging.
Crazy as it is.
Yeah, that there's a forging. I don't want to say, unity there, but that he seems to be staying in place.
It is a change in temperature, and in Saudi Arabia, they, I think, would have been more happy without this sort of thaw. And the fact that it's making the news now all over the place is another element of this of the
ongoing
picture.
Confusing mess that is the Middle East.
Yeah, that is Syria.
And
so, the Daily Star, not the Lebanese one, but the British Daily Star, reports that the British police are preparing for a mall attack. Now, this is not something imminent, but something that they are preparing for after what happened in Kenya at the Westgate Shopping Center
That was
massacre.
my first question. Is this, do we think malls are the next,
Security experts in Britain are concerned about potential events unfolding over the Christmas holiday season.
Right.
And to the extent that they've built a purpose-built fake shopping center in Kent.
And started training it?
Where sort of high-profile sniper specialists are working on security methods to fake exercises. So it shows that they're serious about these threats. They're taking it very...
is this due to specific threats, or they're just looking at modus operandi of terrorist groups in the last... We don't really know, probably.
Security experts are saying that they have information that there could be...
There could be something like that.
The commercial targets are on the list.
They should just come to Tel Aviv and see how, there's a security guard in every entrance to every mall.
Right, and that's not in the culture
it has to be
in London or England, so it might be coming up soon, because that's something that the press is watching too. Also in the British press, the Mirror reports that the Taliban has vowed to kill teenage education activist Malala 1 year after they tried to kill her on a school bus. This is awful news. It's unfortunate even to have to talk about it. But this is, the Taliban has said that they're standing by their decision to kill this girl.
She's the courageous young woman that also spoke at the UN, I think.
Right. And they say for criticizing Islam, actually she just basically said girls ought to go to school.
Right.
Which for them is apparently sacrilegious.
Where is she now, though?
I believe she's in the United Kingdom. I believe she's supposed to be meeting the Queen
and hopefully
this month.
Will stay there too.
And I'm sure that she has protection from the authorities because of the threats that are out there. And she's actually, there's been talk that she might be tipped for the Nobel Peace Prize. And this is she is an international figure,
and and very, very courageous young woman. I don't think
very. So the press is following that story closely. And very fascinating story that was reported first in the New York Times and it was picked up by CNBC. The federal budget crisis months in the planning. This is the kind of story that should have caused thunder across the world.
I was thinking this is...
And the fact that it was in the New York Times is a kind of thunder. But basically what this article, what the investigative reporting is saying is that shortly after President Obama started his second term, apparently there was a coalition of conservative activists led by none other than Edwin Meese, our friend from the Reagan years. They gathered in Washington to basically plot a blueprint to defund Obamacare.
If this is not the House of Cards season 2.
Yeah, this is, I mean, talk about conspiracy theories. Yeah. This is right there on the front page of the New York Times saying, look, what's happening now with the government shutdown is no accident. It was basically planned at any price to take down the legislation, which, whether or not you agree or disagree with Obamacare, the methods used here to crippling the U.S. government are quite startling.
Startling, and you know, makes you wonder if true, then clearly they will stop at nothing to stop that legislation.
It is true. I mean, this is when the New York Times, the paper of record, reports that these meetings happened, which were legal. I mean, these are political strategy sessions, but to the nth degree. Hardcore strategy. Let's take down this bill that we hate.
Even if it means paralyzing the country.
Right. Right. So maybe it's in a way to force compromise, which hasn't come yet.
Yeah, so, and as we've heard yesterday, this can take at least 10 more days, if not, you know, which is terrifying to think in that respect. The shutdown.
Also, a great story in the New York Times about Twitter, a story about using Twitter to move markets. This story in the media equation column, it talks about how Charles Icahn, the hedge fund manager, in August, he tweeted a few times that he was planning to buy Apple stock. A few tweets.
And that probably moved that.
Within an hour, Apple's market capitalization spiked by $17 billion.
Wow.
Wow is right. I mean, this is the power of social media and Twitter writ large.
It's not illegal trading, that's the thing, but it's basically putting the tips about, you know, about stocks moving out there in the arena.
Right, a guy with huge influence, a financial heavyweight. And then he said, oh, I just had dinner with Tim Cook of Apple.
And boom.
And boom, market valuation up there.
Never happens when I tweet stuff like that. You know, nobody really listens to what I buy or sell, which is usually stuff in the market, but that in the supermarket.
Yeah. But the fact that the New York Times old guard press picks up on this, but this is a huge Wall Street story that affects the economy on so many levels. So,
Tony, Grant, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and obviously next hour as well. Welcome back. It is still Tuesday, October 8th, 2013. This is still the morning edition. I am still Yael Levy. We are joined still by my one and only Anthony Grant. With anything and everything that's going viral out there on the web, what do you have for me?
Blue jeans.
Okay. I'm just looking at what I wore.
Remember the David Bowie? Blue jean. I love that video.
Wow.
I love it.
You know that we are constantly letting people know how old we are.
Yeah. Well,
but yes,
you know, it's a part of cultural heritage. What are you going to do? Denim. Benjamin Netanyahu, in an interview with
Denim, jeans, and Benjamin Netanyahu.
It all comes together because he, in an interview with BBC's Persian language service, he said something about to the effect that Iranians should be allowed to wear jeans and this and that. And
he did?
One of those, something like that.
Freedom for the blue jeans. Okay.
Well, in Iran, they didn't take a shine to that because apparently people do wear jeans in Iran. And so Twitter is abuzz with people tweeting pictures of their jeans to sort of tell Bibi that actually, hey, we do wear jeans.
Oh, my God.
But I want to just say this in defense of our prime minister. There's a sample picture, an Iranian tweet of jeans, and I'm sorry, but we're looking at chinos in the middle. So note to Iran, if you're going to say you wear jeans, tweet pictures of jeans.
Chinos? Yeah. Okay.
Those jeans are blue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, blue jean, David Bowie, come on.
David Bowie, blue jeans, okay. You know, I got to say, though, I'm quite impressed with the Iranian people also putting it on. They're just kicking with this Twitter thing in Iran.
Yeah.
You know, everything, their social media, I mean, they're winning the social media battle of the world.
I'm not going to say they're winning. I want to see only pictures of blue jeans. We can call it a temporary tie, but right now I think Israel is still ahead on the blue jean front.
And you don't want to see any Rouhani selfies, but
I certainly do not.
Do not want to do that. Fine. What else?
You know what I would like to see, though?
Okay.
More Israeli singers making waves internationally, and it might be set to happen. France's M6 or M6, which is sort of like the French MTV, has picked up this very popular Israeli singing competition show called Rising Star.
Popular is an understatement. Rising Star is Pop Idol, essentially.
It's like American Idol.
Pop Idol.
But people vote via an app for the singer that they like the best, and something like 2.3 million out of Israel's 8 million people are using this. So talk about wildly popular.
Almost as large a crowd as one that attended the funeral yesterday.
Yeah, the French have taken note, and of course the M6 is a huge French media entity, so they're going to be adapting this for the French format. And so it's an Israeli success story.
Another format of television that has been sold. There's been quite a few of those. No, seriously.
Yes.
In the last couple of years.
Homeland
is an Israeli.
Yeah.
In Treatment, Israeli show.
And there's a couple others too, but this one is the latest.
You got to write ours and sell it somewhere. You know,
let's have a strategy session about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, let's have a strategy session over grilled wieners.
Yes, grilled wieners.
Because we talked about bacon.
I thought you were going bacon and now grilled wieners.
Anthony Weiner is back in the news.
How? How does he manage to do that?
As the New York Post reports, Huma is caught in the middle between Hillary and Weiner.
She works for Hillary, doesn't she?
Well, she has worked in the past for Hillary, and now sources are saying that Hillary Clinton has said to Huma, Huma Abedin being the wife of Anthony Weiner,
who we all know
the disgraced
who he is.
former New York congressman, saying, if you want to work for my campaign in 2016, you better ditch your hubby.
Really?
That's what Page 6 is reporting. And I believe there could be some credence to that, because Anthony Weiner has become a political liability.
How do you pronounce her name? Huma?
The lovely Huma Abedin.
Huma Abedin, okay.
Yes.
No, she is gorgeous. I mean, I don't even
apparently
understand what
Huma
she's
is
doing
torn.
with this nutcase.
Yeah, and apparently she might be disengaging a bit from Weiner. Hopefully, she will
every line one says about this story has so many, so many meanings. Yeah,
it does. But politically, interestingly, the subtext here is they're talking about Hillary's campaign in 2016 already winding up, which
Look at how I let that completely fly by me.
And this is, Weiner aside, and we hope he is aside.
Yeah, and she's basically, that's almost a line, Hillary, confirming that she's going to run.
Because she's not denying it.
Exactly. Because she's not. There you go.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And if Huma wants to come on board, ditch the Weiner. I just wanted to say that. Okay, there you go. Yes. What else?
Also making some waves is Mishal Hussain, who is a 40-year-old Muslim presenter of BBC's Radio 4's Today program.
Okay.
She is the first Muslim to present this show on the BBC. And she's making the news in the UK because somebody on a train recognized her, another Muslim, and said, "You're doing great work, but you need to be wearing a hijab."
Wow.
And she says, "No, I don't."
Of course not.
And she points out that the Quran does apparently not say that women have to wear this or that. And so she's...
no, it's like somebody coming to me and saying, if you want to do this, you're doing a great job, but you have to wear a wig.
Or you have to wear...
I happen to like my hair.
Jeans, or you have to... Whatever. It's not written. So she's very high profile, coming out there and saying, hey, let me do my work and
leave me alone. It's not about what I wear, and it's not about my hair.
Right.
Okay. Amen.
So amen to her.
What else?
The Guardian talks about Thom Yorke, the Radiohead frontman who has come out.
Radiohead.
Yeah.
Big fan.
He's very vocal. He slammed Spotify. He's calling it the last desperate fart of a dying corpse.
Oh my God.
Leave it to the Brits, right? The headlines.
No,
I couldn't make that up.
No, you could not make that up. You have to go to British private schools and be educated by the Queen to come up with that.
Exactly.
Yes, of course.
For those who don't know, Spotify is a music streaming service, which apparently Thom Yorke thinks is not as hip as it's cracked up to be. He says it's in cahoots with the major labels, and that it's not.
And maybe then he's not doing so well in it. Who knows? Maybe there's that. His singers have big egos. Yeah, but still, gotta love that line very much.
Yeah,
so.
it's a keeper.
I might tattoo it somewhere. And
do I have time for one more?
Yes.
The South China Morning Post reported on a phenomenon in Vietnam. Facebook is how people were finding out about the death of General Vo Giap, who is a big deal in Vietnam because he is the guy who orchestrated the Dien Bien Phu debacle, in which the French basically had their tushes kicked way back when. And he also...
I think that's how we should describe every war around the world. Having your tush kicked.
It was a seminal event as well. He orchestrated the Tet Offensive. The guy's a hero in Vietnam. For Americans and French, he's pretty much the devil incarnate.
We're talking Vietnam War days. We're talking all of that. Yeah.
He passed away, and the media is very tightly controlled in Vietnam today. So people were finding out about this, even though he was kind of a hero, but via Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, strangely enough, because you would think he would be feted like Ho Chi Minh, that sort of thing. But no, it's a tightly controlled. The Communist Party is still exercises that kind of.
So they kept this under wraps, and somebody actually,
word got out as word, gets out in countries big or small, and Facebook was the place where Vietnamese were expressing their grief, finding out about it, trading information. So very fascinating, even despite the fact that Vietnam is now considered to be, much more. It's still considered to be more open than it has been in the past, but
it's still all completely
in terms of
controlled.
media, not so much. It's quite tightly controlled.
Were there any, kind of that's the wrong word.
Commemoration.
Commemoration was anything,
I think that there was plans for something sort of a sober sort of commemoration. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top, kind of restrained.
And only on Twitter.
And Facebook. And maybe that will change as everyone seems to know now that he passed away. I think it was last week. Maybe the government will come back and say, okay, we're going to do an official.
Now, if you want to see anything on Tony's segment or this show with Tony, do let us know. I-24 News on Facebook and Twitter, where you can find out about Vietnamese funerals and us. Tony, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm listening. Thank you for joining me today. Sports Magazine
at 7:40 p.m.
7:40 p.m. And that is it for us this morning, folks. Visit us on the web, on our Facebook page, I-24 News. Do not forget to join us tomorrow for another morning edition to start your day every single day. Have a good day.